All right, and good day, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Truly Foundation and A Course in Miracles. And hi, my name is Oliver Blue, and today I will be your temporary host and guide and coach as we take this next step in our journey of transformation. And I am so delighted to be here on this gorgeous spring day. And I hope wherever you are at peace. Wherever you are in love with yourself, your creator, and all creation. Because there's no other loving place to be. And in reality, that is the only loving place that there is in the heart of God, where we have never, ever, ever left. Only in dreams, only in play. And the good news is reality is intact. Heaven is intact. Who we are as one with our Creator, who we are in reality is intact. It cannot be changed or altered. And that is the foundation that has been laid for all of us. And there's no other foundation that can be laid than our oneness. The Bible says it this way: there's no other foundation that can be laid other than that which is laid in Christ. That word Christ means all things being reconciled into the one thing, that all things are the one thing, and the one thing is all things. That's our foundation. That's what keeps us from falling. That is what is able to keep us from falling, that truth. That's another scriptural reference when it says, to him who is able to keep us from falling. To him be all power and glory and praise, or to her, or to it be all glory and power and praise. To the one God, see, to the one everlasting Father. And it's not that God is able or love is able to keep us from falling. Love has kept us and will keep us from falling into something that we are not. It won't keep you from playing in the game of separation, but it will keep you from making the play in the game of separation becoming your reality. In other words, you can decide to leave home. I can decide to leave home. I can decide to leave my place of peace, to adventure and to explore that which is unreal. I can leave reality in my mind of play, in my play in dreams, in my dabbling into fantasies, in my curiosity and detour into vain imaginings. Even I can decide to hallucinate, to see or to experience what would it be like to be other than that which God created. But the one thing that none of us can do is change what God did in creation. What none of us can do is make unreality a reality. We can play with it. We can fantasize with it. We can hallucinate with it. We can have vain imaginings about it. But eventually, what? We have, eventually, all of us are like the prodigal son. Eventually, we're going to come to ourselves. Thank God. Even God guarantees this. Even love guarantees. Because, see, God and love, being the same, knows that there is nothing else but love. There is nothing else but God. God is, and there is nothing else. There is only love. They know that. That's the truth. That's reality. So though we can, in our minds, decide to go on a prodigal journey, which is only symbolic of what we do at night when we get into bed, go unconscious, and we dream a dream of separation. We dream dreams of nightmares. We dream of altering that which is true, only to what? Eventually we wake up to say, thank God. But that's what this whole dramatic experience of life is all about. It's all about us waking up to that which is never changed, waking up to that which is never altered, waking up to that which is eternal and infinite. And thank God that it is. And so today we're going to be looking into another workbook lesson. Workbook lesson 325, if you're following us in our course book, which is called A Course in Miracles. And this is just a resource that we have been using to help us to heal our mind from the belief in separation, which is the root cause of all of the problems that you've ever thought you had in life. We've been using A Course in Miracles not as a way to define love, because love is not definable, but we have been using the Course as a way for us to remove the blocks, to remove the veil, to the awareness of love's presence, that the fact that love is always present, because love is everything. Love is all there is. And the only thing between our complete experience of that, right, because it can't be defined, love can only be experienced. The only thing is in between our experience of pure love. The only thing that stands in between our direct experience of the true love that we all share is a part of the mind that has taken a journey, a prodigal journey. Not in reality, but in unreality. And so that part of the mind is what needs to be healed. It's what needs to be renewed. It's what needs to be awakened. It is that part of the mind that what needs to be enlightened. And so the whole process of renewing, healing, awakening, enlightenment, rebirth, new birth, we lump it all up in the word transformation. So all of us are on a transformative journey of awakening. All of us. No one gets to escape the process of awakening. No one gets to escape the process of transformation. We're all transforming. In other words, we're all removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And it is our lives, our individual life, and our life journey, and everything in our life, in every relationship within our life, in every experience, in every activity, in every sensation, in every idea, in every thought, in every feeling, in every emotion, in every scenario. And everything about your life is your life's path that is perfectly designed to wake you up. Your path has been perfect to wake you up. You say, well, how can that be? Do you know what I have had to go through? Do you know what I have had to experience in life? Do you understand the pain and suffering that I have gone through? Host Oliver? And my response to that would be, yes, and it's perfect. Or perfect. It couldn't be no other way. Why? You might say. It couldn't be no other way because of the choices that you've made. Every choice that you make has a corresponding reaction or of a corresponding result. And just think of the absolute all-knowingness and all the infinite intelligence that it takes to take every move, every thought, every decision of your life and make the adjustment to orchestrate your awakening. Can you imagine? And you're just one person. And there's 8 billion people on the planet right now that their lives are being orchestrated for their awakening. Can you imagine the power and the wisdom and the awareness that it takes to manage all of that and to bring all of us to a safe landing? How awesome is what we are a part of? How unsearchable are the depths of this intelligence that we are a part of, that is so sure about your ultimate awareness, about your ultimate place, to the point that it guarantees your safety. That's what the word bless means. That when you see, we use bless because it sounds good. It feels good. But that word blessed, when God said he has blessed you with every spiritual blessing in the heavenlies, if we really understood what that means, we would jump for joy. When the Creator says that before the foundation of the world, I have blessed all humanity with every spiritual spiritual blessing in the heavenlies. If we really knew what that meant, we would jump for joy continuously. It means that you are changeless. You are unalterable. It means that you are infinite and eternal. It means that you are at the center of life, and life more abundant. And that when this stage of life has folded up, when this thing called our planetary experience has been over and done with, when time is no longer, when all of the limitations have been removed, when there's no more a distractive element, when there's no more a dream, no more illusions, when all of the fantasies have run their course concerning our identity, concerning separation, when all of that has finally run its course, when the lie has finally run out of new ideas, and we realize that we remain as God created us in creation, that we are indeed creation, that we are indeed the innocent home of God, that we are indeed the holiness that God is, that we are indeed the purity that God is, that we are indeed what God is, that we are every thought of God. That we remember who we really are. And the idea of suffering and pain and hurt and disappointment and misunderstanding and lack and not knowing and the cray-cray of this life will all be wrapped up into the reality that nothing has changed. We are love, and there is nothing else. So let me come out of my little cocoon here. And let's look at workbook lesson 325. In workbook lesson 325, the thought for today is all things. All things. And when we use the word all, which is a superlative, that means that there is nothing else. It is an all-encompassing word. It's an encompassing idea that there is all and there's nothing left. There's not one, there's not a half of one, there's not a third of a one that is omitted, but all is inclusive. There is no divide in all. There's no separation in all. All in all. God is all in all. Love is all in all. So all things that we think, or all things that I think, make it personal to you. All things that I think I see all things that I think I see, all of them, nothing excluded, reflects an idea. Notice now, all things that I think I see is but a reflection. Notice now, of an idea. It's not a reflection of reality, but it's a reflection of an idea in our minds. Everything that you see is a reflection of an idea that's in your mind. Everything that you think you see is but a reflection of an idea. Think about that. Everything that's in form is a reflection of an idea. Everything. Look in the room that you're sitting in right now, the place where you are. Just look around you. If you really counted everything in that room, you probably would count hundreds of things, separate things that appear to be separate. And all of those things are but a reflection of an idea. Notice now, then it didn't say that they are the idea, but they are a reflection of the idea. Because the idea is a mental thought. It is a mental thought. But this microphone is not a mental thought. It is in form. You know, this cell phone is not a thought. It's in form. But here it says that it's but a reflection of an idea. This is salvation's keynote. And I'm into the lesson now. It says this is salvation's keynote. And it's this: what I see reflects a process in my mind. So really, we're not seeing with our eyes, but we're seeing what? Through a process within our minds. In our minds, and I'm pointing to my head, but your mind is not in your head. Your mind is not a physical, mechanical, measurable existence. If I ask you to show me a picture of the mind, or if you went to your physician and you asked your physician to say, could you x-ray my mind? Or could you take an image of my mind? You know what the response would be? Can't take an image of your mind. They would say, I can take an image of your brain, but your brain is not your mind. The mind is invisible. The mind is beyond word. It transcends form and physicality, and it transcends time. Your mind is outside of time and space. Have you ever thought about that? Your mind transcends time and space. And so here when it says, this is salvation's keynote, this is the key notice or notation that we should be aware of where salvation is concerned. And remember, what is salvation? Salvation is your awakening. Salvation is your coming to an awareness of your true self, your true identity. Where here at Truly Foundation, we call it the real you. So this knowing of the self, this knowing of the real you, the key to the knowing of the real you is that what you see reflects a process in the mind, which starts with an idea of what you want. Everything in this room, like I said, is a reflection of an idea of something that someone had, and someone wanted that idea to come into form. And so it is with all things. All things, like the title here of our thought for the day, all things I think I see is but a reflection of an idea. And so it's a process by which the mind, which starts with an idea of what we want. And from that thought, from that idea, the mind makes up, notice now, the mind makes up an image by use of what? The imagination. All of us have an imagination. Some of us have a very vivid imagination. But all of us have an imagination. That's why it's been said that we have been made in the imagination or the image of God or the image of love. And so it says that from there, the mind makes up an image of the thing the mind desires. So here again, what's motivating the thing that we want is our desires. So desires is like a powerful energy that fuels our ideas, or it fuels what we want. So you see the process here. The process is the mind, which is the source of an idea, right? That it gets an image of, and it wants it. It desires it. It is through desires that we come up with an image of that idea. It starts with a thought, idea. We get an image of it, and we desire to have it. That's how the process starts. And then it says, we judge the value. We determine what value this thing is going to have, this image has. What value does this image have? How much do I desire this? How much do I want this thing? How sometimes we just got to have somebody. We just got to have this person. We just got to have this thing. We just got to have this experience. Y'all know how we do. It comes through what? Our desires. And there's nothing wrong with desires. There's nothing wrong with an idea. There's nothing wrong with a thought. There's nothing wrong with an image. But here we're just explaining the process so that we understand that we're not just living in an environment. We're not just living in a system that has no rhyme nor reason. But there's a rhyme and reason for your existence. There is a rhyme and reason for your experiences. There's a rhyme and reason for the results that you have experienced in life. There's a rhyme and reason for you being here. There's a purpose, is what I'm getting at. And all your experiences has a purpose. But the ultimate purpose of everything is the one thing, and that is your awakening. Awakening to your original self, awakening to your original creation. Why? Because therein lies everything that you could ever imagine. Therein lies the very thing that you really are, and I'm really looking for. To know thyself. To know the self. To know the truth. Here we call it the real you. that loves you. And so it says we add value and therefore we seek to find it. These images that we create in our minds are then projected outward. It's projected outward. Just like if you go to the movies, more so not today because of technology, but in the in the original idea of going to a movie, you would sit in the movie and there would behind you there would be a projector, and in that within that projector the images would run through the projector and it would project it out on the screen. That's the whole idea of projection. Projection is basically an idea of taking that which is inner and projecting it to the outer, your inner world, right? Your inner world is your inner world. Your inner world is your thoughts and your ideas. That's your inner world. What are you thinking? What are you thinking about yourself? What are you thinking about your brother? What are you thinking about your neighbor? What are you thinking about the government? What are you thinking about this or that? Whatever you're thinking. What are you thinking about your value? What are you thinking about your future? What are you thinking about your past? That's your inner world. And what it's saying here is that that inner world are filled with ideas that came from your mind. Ideas that you accepted within your conscious mind and said, yes, I'd like to go out with you. And that's how the mind works. An idea comes into the conscious mind. A suggestion, a thought. So the whole question is, where's the thought coming from? Is it every thought of God? Or is it a thought that's coming from fear or the place of separation? But these thoughts are always coming into our conscious mind as a seed, looking for a place to be planted so that it can come into what? Form. And nothing comes into form in this world other than through humanity. Everything that you see in life has come through humanity. Every single solitary thing. Everything in form has come through humanity. Everything. That's how powerful we are. That's how powerful we are. And that's how powerful the mind is. It is a creating machine. Remember, we said we are what? We are creation. That means that what we are, we have the ability to what? To create. We cannot help but create. From the day that we popped out of our mother's womb into this three-dimensional world, we've been creating form in this three-dimensional world. We have been creating scenarios and situations and circumstances in this three-dimensional world. From day one, we have been creating through this process of using the mind. And taking an idea and saying, yeah, I want that. And making up an image. And through strong desires, judging by saying, this is the value this will have for me. And then we go out and seek to find it. It says these images are then projected outward, looked upon, esteemed as real. We say this is real. And guarded as our very own. This is mine. From insane wishes. Notice now. Stay with me. From insane, You want to understand how your life has unfolded? I'm sharing it with you right here. This is how your life has unfolded. This is how you have experienced everything in life. This is how you have found yourself where you are in life. This is how you have manipulated your life. I'm giving you the process right here. And all of us participate in this process. And we wonder how. Okay, how did I get here? Where is this? Where is God? If life is so good, if we're so blessed, why am I experiencing this? Why is this not working? Why, is this happening to me? Why is my body doing this? Why is my loved one not still here with me? Why would those out there do this? Why is there so much disharmony and lack of peace and love in the world? Why? Well, I'm sharing with you why. And it starts with an idea that comes into your mind. And you say, I want that. And then you create an image that you strongly desire. And you say, this would be valuable. And therefore you seek to find it. And then these images are then projected outward. Ta-da! The thing I desired, I have it. And then we look upon it. And then we esteem the thing that we projected, that started with an image. We esteem it as valuable and real. And we guard it as our own. This is mine. This money is mine. This car is mine. This house is mine. This woman, this man is mine. This child is mine. This business is mine. This team is mine. This is my shoes, my socks. This is my space. This is my idea. This is my gun. This is my community. This is my race. This is my people. This is my nation. This is my political party. This is mine. And then from insane, notice now, from a place of insanity, we wish. It says, from insane wishes come a complete insane world. So you want to know how the world got to be in the place that it is, the history of the world? We just showed you how. That's the process. That's how everything got into this world. That's how everything got into your life. That's how you have experienced every single solitary thing in your life. Me too. Through this process, whether you know it or not. This is the process that we're going through. And most of us go through this process not knowing. And we keep imagining things and desiring things and imaging things, imagining things, and giving value to things and projecting things and looking upon things and judging them as good. But in the end, it says, from these insane wishes come an insane world. This is how we produce the world that we see. This is how we produce the life that we have experienced through this process, knowingly or unknowingly. When you don't know it, we call it living by default. Que sera, whatever what shall be, shall be. But when you know this, And you know this when you wake up to what's going on. Then you come to a place where you, okay, this is how it works. Then you become a what? Master of life. You begin to live life by design and not by default. You begin to live life by intention and life by purpose and not by default, not by ignorance, not by not knowing, but now you begin to live by knowing. And so it says, from insane wishes comes an insane world. From judgment comes a world that is condemned. We judge the very thing that we brought into the world. We turn around and judge it. We condemn it. We just had to have that wife. We just had to have that husband. And then 5 years later, we're what? We're condemning it. We had to have those children. Then 20 years later, we're shaking our heads. We had to have that house and that car. And then when them payments, them reoccurring payments coming in, we're like, oh my God, what have I done? We had to have that particular leader. We want him or her to lead us. Like, in the Old Testament, God said, look, I know the way. Let me lead y'all. Let me lead y'all. I'm going to lead you into safety. And they said, no, we want a leader. We want a leader just like all the other nations. And God said, but I know everything. They said, no. We got an idea that's different than you, God. We want a leader just like all the other nations. We want a king. We want a man. We want someone that we can say, that's our leader. And so God said, okay, that's what you want. And then here comes Saul. Here comes Saul. They chose their leader. We want Saul. And y'all know the rest of that story. They had an idea. Then eventually what? They condemned Saul. And that's how it happened in our life. Just think about your personal life. How you desired something. Oh, I just gotta have it. I just gotta have it. And then when we get it, it ain't what we thought. And that's how illusions are. Illusions are never what they seem. Illusions are never what they seem. There's only one thing that is what it is, and that is love, because love is all there is. Everything else is a what? Temporary experience. You ever notice how you can seem like it doesn't matter what I do, how much money I make, how much I love, how much I do this or that. I always wanting something else, always wanting the more. There's always something seems to be missing in my life. Nothing seems to satisfy me. Join the party. There's a reason for that. Here it says that from an insane wish comes an insane world, and that's insanity. Isn't it? Like insanity. You go from one thing to another. Like they say, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Now you know where it's coming from, right? You don't have to be in the dark or not in the know, understanding what is happening in the world and in the world that you have created for yourself. There's always an argument. There's always a disagreement. There's always multiple opinions. There's always opposites in this world of duality, in this world of perception. And this is almost like, this is insane, man. And as soon as you think you got everything just right, something else pops up. It's like golf. I'm a golfer. Golf is so much parallel with life. That's why I love it so much. It teaches me so much. And any golfer out there know that what? Golf will humble you. Golf will bring you to your knees. You be praying, God, give me a golf game. Give me a swing. Give me a putt. Give me a chip. Give me a new driver. And life is like that. As soon as you think you got this golf thing down, that yeah, now I got my game is tight, right? Y'all golfers know what I'm talking about. My game is tight. And when you go to play that next round, by the third hole, there's 18 holes in a round, right? For you non-golfers. By the third, you go play that next round thinking that your game is tight. By the third hole, you ain't played but 3 holes, and you be wondering, what is going on? Who moved my cheese? Who tucked my game while I was asleep? Yesterday, the last week, the last month, I've been killing it. And all of a sudden, I can't drive. I can't hit my irons. I can't putt. I can't chip. I can't make the right decisions. What happened? And we start what? I got to do something different. I got to get a new swing. Get some new clubs. Maybe it's these tightless balls I'm hitting. Well, life is like that too. Just the same. Why? Why is that? Because this world we're living in is not reality. There's nothing here real but you. That's it. Everything else is a temporary play with separation. Everything. I did not see this coming out like this. So from judgment comes a world condemned. And from forgiveness and from forgiving thoughts, a gentle world comes forth. So forgiveness is an idea. And here it's saying judgment brings forth condemnation, but forgiveness brings forth a gentle world. With mercy for yourself. It says forgiveness brings forth thoughts of a gentle world and mercy for yourself, which is the creation of God. To offer yourself a kindly home where you can rest a while before you journey on. So here it introduces, in the middle of this process where we go from judgment to condemnation, it introduces or reintroduces the idea of forgiveness. It is through forgiveness that is our only path out of this condemnation, where we've turned on ourselves and condemned ourselves by condemning the very thing that we created. And he said the only way out of that insane scenario is through forgiveness. Where you realize that every idea that is not an idea of God is not real, and it will not bring you the happiness you seek. And the only way out of that scenario, here it calls it insanity, is to forgive. Because it is through your forgiveness, your release of what appeared to have happened, that there is an insight and a remembrance into your original creation. There's an insight into your awareness of your oneness with reality. It's like a waking up. It's like when you're dreaming at night and the dream is not good, you want to wake up. And here it's saying forgiveness is the means for the awakening. We have to be willing to let go of the dream. We have to be willing to let go of the idea that is not an idea of God. Because remember, creation is every thought of God. So if we are entertaining ideas like separation, like lack, scarcity, sickness and disease and poverty and pain and death and fear and sin and guilt, consciousness, and everything that is antithetical to love, it said we need to let that go. We need to forgive. We need to give that idea up for every thought of God. So forgiveness has come and bailed us out again. You cannot, you will not, like Jesus said, enter into your real experience of love that you are, unless we become like the little child. And you know how children let things go? They have a traumatic event and then they just let it go and they go on to the next thing. And we have to be like that. We have to be willing to let go of the falsehood of our ideas that are not ideas that have their origin in love. We have to be willing to let it go. Because if we don't let it go, we will stay in judgment and we will project these ideas out only to experience what we're projecting out. We think we're projecting them out on another, but we're only projecting them on ourselves. When we hold this image of ourselves and the image of others that is not in alignment, harmony, or integrity with what God created, which is love only. That's why when we get in our emotions and we get into our feelings and all we can think of is hatred and bitterness and wrath and anger, and we go into a rage and we think that we're hurting someone else, we're only hurting ourselves. Because there's only the one self. The universe only knows oneself. So when you give someone a piece of your mind, you're giving yourself all of your mind. And that's why we feel so bad at the end of that process. So here, all things that I think I see is a reflection of ideas. So it is through forgiveness that lets us off the hook. Always. So that we can journey on and help not only ourselves, but help all humanity to walk ahead with us and to find the way to heaven and to God and to love and to reality. So the real journey that we're on is a return to our original creation, the knowing of ourselves, the knowing that we are the very creation of the Creator, not as something different, but one with, that the very essence, the very nature of God is the very essence and nature of who we are. not as something separate, but we share God's nature. We share God's being. We share God's one self. That yes, we are on our own individual path. And there are many paths. Every life is a path, a very unique path. But every one of those paths lead to the one self, the one God, the one reality that we all share. Many paths, many lives, one self, one reality, one love. And when we wake up to that reality, then we are able to only accept the ideas that are every thought of God, because that's the only reality that there is. And so, our Father, all of your ideas reflect the truth. All of God's ideas reflect the truth. They are a reflection of the truth. Just like your ideas is a reflection of your desires. So God's ideas reflect the truth. You know, we've learned earlier that ideas don't leave their source. Wherever the idea is sourced or originates, it never leaves there. When you have an idea, it never leaves you. We are an idea of God. We are a thought of God. You are. We are as one thought, not as 8 billion thoughts, but we are one thought expressed 8 billion different ways. But we're still the one thought. We are the one self. We are the one idea. And it says that God's idea or love's idea reflect truth, because every thought of God is truth. And our ideas that are apart from truth are apart from God or are apart from love, but make up dreams. So our idea of being separate from God, separate from one another, our idea of birth and death, our idea of scarcity and lack and sickness and disease and pain and suffering and birth, our idea of peace and of war and fighting, our idea of different races, different nations, different countries, different continents. Everything is different in this world. It will teach you that nothing is the same. And that's the farthest from the truth. They're only dreams. They're dreams of unreality. And when we come to an awareness that is coming from a mind that believes that is separate, a mind that needs to be healed, a mind that needs to be renewed and transformed, then we say yes to doing the work to make that happen. That comes through work, daily work, a daily renewing of the mind, a daily practicing of forgiveness, of daily reminding yourself of who you are, of daily walking in forgiveness. Then we're willing to do the work. And as long as we're doing the work, we're not stuck. It may appear that we're not making progress, but if we're doing the inner work within ourselves on a day-by-day basis, We're actually going from glory to glory. And so here it says, every idea apart from God makes up dreams. Let us behold what only your ideas reflect. Let us only hold the thoughts of God, every thought of God. For it is God's thoughts and God's idea alone that establishes the truth that is true always. It is God's thoughts and God's idea alone that establishes our true identity as the innocent, holy, eternal, infinite, self-aware beings that we are. And the life, the one life that we all share, creation, creator, not separate, but as one. That is sanity. That is releasing yourself from the struggle. That is the release of yourself from the mental torment, from the psychological self-sabotaging punishment, to where we see ourselves in a false way, that we see our neighbor in a false way. That we be not conformed to this world, in the systems of this world, in the thinking of this world, but that we be transformed by the renewing of our mind. That is the work that we've been called to. That is the work of God. And for any of us to ignore that work of transformation is to remain in pain, is to remain in suffering, to remain in insanity, to remain in not knowing. But the light has come. The light has come. So, today's idea: all things I think I see reflects ideas. But is it a God idea? Or is it an idea that comes from a place of fear, come from a place of belief in separation? That's lesson 325. Have a great day. Consider the process. Become a master of creation, which is what you are. Become a master of your life. Become a master of love, because that is who you are. Until tomorrow. Peace. Bye-bye.